Okay, everybody, welcome to week 4. So this week, you're going to do pretty much the same stuff you did in week 1. But today, what we're going to do a little different is I thought it would be a good idea for us to go over some pronunciation. What I'd like you to do is try to work on this on your own. Unfortunately, I can't really help you with it, but record yourself maybe and match it up to what we go over today. So what we're going to start with is we're going to go over all of the potential answers for the closed test that you're going to take after we finish this video. And then after you take the closed test and turn in your answers, then we're going to do the same thing and go over the answers, the definitions, other meanings for it, and a few other things. And then you're going to write sentences again with the correct answers. So let's start. You see right there. So number 1, you have 4 choices. And these are pretty easy. You know all these words, I'd say. The only challenging one, okay, A is how, B, where, C, when, and D has that tricky TH in it, whether, okay? So the error here everybody makes with the TH is pronouncing it like a D, weather, but it's weather, okay, weather. Yeah, it's to be a really good idea for you to look up words that have TH in all places, beginning, middle, end, and focus on that, because if you can get that sound down, your English is going to be really good, because that is definitely one of the toughest things to say that I've found since I've been teaching here. So again, it's weather, okay? TH sound, same sound, beginning of the word like the, or at the end like I hate math, okay? Number 2, letter A is region, region. B, field, field. C, easy one, place. Make sure you enunciate this on the C, place. Don't forget, C has 2 sounds. Has the K sound like cat, you know that one, and then C like circus, or how it is in that word, place. And then D, case, rhymes with place, different spelling, but the S is making the same sound as the C does in place. Number 3, you have clarity, clarity. B, emotion, okay, emotion. Don't forget the T-I-O-N is very often pronounced just like an S-I-O-N at the end of a word. Then you have C, it's a little difficult, sentiment, sentiment. And D, affection, affection. What's also a thing you have to remember, try to keep in mind when you're using your English, is that your enunciation is, English Thai is about tone, and English is about your syllables, where you place what's called stress. So, you know, the example that you've probably all heard before from me and other teachers is, what do we say? You guys say computer, right? But 3 syllables, computer. But instead of saying computer, you're supposed to say computer. The stress would be on what's called the middle syllable. So keep that in mind when we're doing this. Or when you're doing it, speaking yourself, when you're reading, you're not sure what a word is, if you're reading out loud, if you're reading lyrics off a song, right? You have the correct pronunciation can be based on where you're putting the stress. If it's a more than 2 or more syllable word. If it's a 1 syllable word, it doesn't matter, right? Of course, you know, and there's no and, it's just and because it's 1 syllable. So let's move to number 4. A is recite. B, recognize, recognize. Saying the C like the hard K sound there. And don't forget your Z or Z, if you learned it as Z. Z, recognize. C, read, or if you're saying it in the past tense, read. And D, repeat. You could say repeat or repeat. So you're saying repeat, putting the stress on the second syllable. Number 5, volume. A. B, noise. I think you'd hear a noise right now. There's noise outside construction. C, voice. Okay. On the voice. Don't say it like an S. Some people say voice. Voice. Like that. And D is pitch. Pitch. Now, number 6, we have close is one pronunciation as a verb. Or if you want to say it's near, close to you, same spelling, but you say close. The beginning of school is very close. And I know you can't wait to get to school. You must be tired of being stuck at home playing games all day by now, right? B, shut. Easy one. C, stop. You guys all know that word. And D, comfort. Comfort. Number 7, A, living. B, now that's an interesting word, cultivating, coming from the verb cultivate. I won't tell you the definitions of it because then it might make it easier for you on the test. So, but again, that's cultivating. Now, C is reclaiming, reclaiming, and D, exploring. Number 8, A is increase, not increase. Some people will say increase. You can say increase or increase, okay? Now, the interesting about this is increase is a verb and a noun. The pronunciation depends on whether you're using it as a verb or a noun. If you're gonna use it as a noun, you're gonna say, oh, there was a large increase. Okay, there's a large increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in Italy last week. That's not true, but I'm just using it as an example. Then, if you want to use it as a verb, we really need to increase the amount of safety precautions that we're taking here. B, include. Include. C, easy, add. And D is enrich. Enrich. And it doesn't have anything to do with money. Well, not really. Okay. Number 9, A, later. B, further. There's the TH sound. Again, further. Further. Now the TH at the beginning, then. You know, all the basic things that I've done with some of you before is this, that, these, those. Then goes in there with that. And D, there's a hard one to say. Subsequently. Subsequently. Adverb coming from the adjective subsequent. Okay. That's a hard one to say. So we're going to switch it up and go to the second page now. Okay, here we go. And number 10, A, attendant. B, keeper. That's kind of funny because there is such a thing as a beekeeper, but letter B, the word is keeper. C, member, and D, aid. It's not AD. The E is silent. So it's just aid, just like first aid, but there's a difference between AIDE and AID. I hope you know it. 11, A, luckily. It's hard to say because it's the adverb, right? So at the end, luckily, it's 3 syllables. B, gladly. C, nearly. And D, successfully. Successfully. 12, most of those words pretty simple. A, pay. I know you have that one. B, provide. Provide. C, allow. And D, finance. Finance. Long I. Don't forget, a long time ago when you learned some phonics, you know, there's what's called a short or a long, right? Short A, long A, short E, long E. Okay, it sounds like the letter on the long form. So that's the long I, finance. 13, A, normally. B, a little difficult to say, regularly, 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 regularly. C, usually, and D, often. Okay, what happens with that word is people tend to drop the T sound in the middle and say often. It's not often. Often, often. Number 14, A, expectations, expectations. B, sorrows. C, excitement. D, disappointments. And 15, A, that is excursion, excursion, okay? I know X is sometimes difficult for some people, all right? And when you're reading the alphabet, X sound, okay? So it's excursion, hard C, excursion. And the rest are pretty simple. B, travel. C, journey, right? You don't forget that the J always make the J sound, right? Joker, jerk off. And D, trip. And we'd all like to take a trip somewhere. Now I guess we can, starting to lift some of the sanctions. I would like to go on a trip, that's for sure. So anyway, so I hope that helps. And keep that in mind when you're doing anything. The pronunciation is very important. I would like to show you some funny videos about it, but maybe I'll do that online. Okay, so what you're going to do now, we've just gone over pronunciation. So those are all your answers. So you're going to go to the first page of the closed test 2, and you're going to give the answers on the sheet there. Only 15. I think it shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes. And then after that, we're going to come back here, go over the answers and their meanings and example sentences. And once we finish that, then you are going to demonstrate your ability to understand these words by writing sentences again, using those words. Okay, so let's start with the closed test now. Okay, we're back, and now that you've finished your closed test and turned in the answers, right? Good. Let's go over the answers and talk about all the vocabulary related to the answers, forms of the words, and other things. And then again, after that, you're going to show me how well you understand those words by writing sentences using the words. You don't have to do a sentence for number 1, but we will go over number 1. Okay? So let's start. So the answer for number 1 was A, how. And you see how is an adverb. What I've done this time is I've given you all of the other forms of the words, and this is important. This will be important, especially if in the future you take the CUTEP and during the reading portion of the test, and of course the listening part as well. So how, very simple, adverb means in what way or by what method. Okay, you know, of course you guys understand it as, hey, how are you? And how are you doing? And things like that. But I got COVID. How? In what way did you get it? Somebody coughed all over me. I don't have it. Okay, it's an example. Okay. So, easy one for you to do. Number 2 is see, place. Now, what you notice here in place, it is both a verb and a noun. Okay, but in the context of the closed test that you took, they were talking about, they use the phrase in the first place. Now, when they use it that way, it's different than the actual meaning in the way that you would normally use it. There's a slight variance to it. In the first place would mean, hey, what happened to you? You were late. Well, in the first place, I missed my bus. And then second, right? So you're talking about how the order of things happening, okay? Now you see in here, it says in an area or town building, that's like place, you know, what kind of place is it? You know, oh, I'm gonna head over to my friend's place. And then a position in relation to other things or people. Now that's closer to how it was used in the test. You know, in the first place means the first thing that happened, and then second thing that happened. Okay, that's how it was used within the test. The phrase is in the first place. Number 3 was a clarity. Okay, clarity. Now see, clarity is a noun. Comes from the verb clarify. And clarity is the quality of being clear and easy to understand. Now, hopefully, for example, right now, I hope you hear me with good clarity, meaning that you understand everything that I'm saying very easily. I'm recording our videos that I'm doing for you guys in your new room, in room 145. See all the new lights and everything. But anyway, so yeah, clarity can be used. You want to use clarity. People will say things like, oh, it gave me great clarity. So you're dealing with some problem and then somebody suggests something and then you have a greater understanding of what they were talking about or what to do about the situation. You know, you've reached a level of clarity. You know, now everything, now I understand everything. Again, then the verb clarify means to give clarity, you know, to make things clear. So, example, I give you an assignment and then I tell you, oh, it's like your speaking project. And your speaking project to do on July 2nd. And you send me a message and say, teacher, I'd like to clarify when our speaking project is due. A good way to ask me. And then I would say, oh yeah, well, it's July 2nd. And you say, okay, now I know for sure. All right, because I've made it clear to you. You clarified it with me by asking me. Number 4, you know, repeat, but repeat is a verb and a noun. You know, as a verb to say or tell people something more than once. As a noun is like probably the best example is television. If you see the same program twice. See, when you watch a program, say, for example, Game of Thrones or something like that, you see a new episode and then you see it again later. That's a repeat. Okay, they're showing the same one over again. And then you see in there also that there is an adverb form, repeatedly. Okay, remember an adverb modifies a verb. So we're going to talk about doing things repeatedly. Like, let me see, he's repeatedly late for class. Okay. But I know none of you will be, right? Number 5, voice, which I'm sure you already know is a noun, but you might not know that is also a verb. And you see the literal definition, the sounds that are made when people speak or sing. Now, as a verb, as a noun, the more common meaning that you are aware of, you know, oh, he has a beautiful voice. She has a beautiful voice. When I sing, I don't sing because my voice is horrible, right? In all examples we're talking about as a noun. Now, as a verb, you could use it like what's going on. I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on in America right now, but America is like exploding in racial tension, and a lot of people are voicing their concerns about racism and other things, and police brutality and other things like that. So that's how you would use it as a verb. To voice obviously means to speak, to let your thoughts out, okay? Often in class, I will be asking you guys to voice your opinion on something. You know, say it out loud, speak up, okay? To use your voice, okay? Number 6 is the easy one, shut, okay? Shut means to cause to or close something. You see it's used as a phrase, what's called a phrasal verb, which is a verb together with a preposition. Shut up being the very well-known phrasal verb that's used often. And it's the way that it's used in the test as well. Getting somebody to, when it says close something, right? Shut, you can say shut the door. Shut your mouth, you know, instead of saying shut up. But that's how we use that one. Number 7, exploring. Exploring is a verb. Exploration, a noun. Exploratory, the adjective. Simple, to search or discover. So, you know, there's many things exploring, you know, people have gone exploring, you know, the jungle and exploring the world. People came to Asia, you know, exploring America, came from England. Exploration is the same thing, okay? He went on an exploration of the African jungle. And exploratory, common usage for that is exploratory surgery, okay? Or an exploratory group, meaning if somebody comes with an idea, let's say, hey, we want to do a new kind of test at Podisan, and they have an exploratory committee. That committee will look at the different parts of the test and decide, hey, if this is a good idea, we should do this or not. So that's number 7. Number 8, easy. Add, okay, verb, additional, adjective, and additionally, an adverb. All right, to put something with something else to increase the number or amount, or to improve the whole. So what that means is, you know, simply, okay, add, you know that, oh, add 2 plus 2, and what do you get? 22, of course. But when it says to improve the whole, let's say you're doing a group project and somebody says, well, we need to add something else to it, okay? And because you finish a project and you go like, well, it doesn't, there's something missing from it. We need to add something to it. Why are you going to add something to it? You're not, because you want to improve it, because you want to make it better, okay? So very often people will say things, well, you know, would you like to add anything to the conversation? That's another thing too. Number 9, later, which is an adjective. It says at a time in the future or after the time you have mentioned. A good example of this, oh, I give you a homework and I say, oh, it's due on Friday, and then Friday comes and you say, teacher, can I give you my homework later? After the time I have mentioned. Of course you can, that's okay. Take the weekend to do it. Yes, you can give me your homework later, sometime. Number 10, aid, but A-I-D-E, a noun. A person whose job it is to help someone important, such as a member of government or a military officer of high rank. You see this all the time. Think about like the prime minister. He has many aides, okay? The president, CEO of a company, okay? But you notice it centers around government. So it's not, don't get confused with like you hear phrases like military aid and things like this. That's AID, meaning literally help. AIDE is the helper, the person who gives the help. But as you see, it's specific to a government or military officer. Okay. Military officers are very known for having a lot of aides, you know, people to help them. Just imagine it's like the same thing would be like a boss, and say like the boss has a secretary or something like that. Let's move on. Almost finished. And we got successfully, which is an adverb. Now, the important thing to know about successfully, it has many forms. Success, which is a noun. Succeed, the verb, and successful, which is an adjective. Successfully is in a way that achieves the results wanted or hoped for. Now, what are you hoping to do? To successfully pass all of your classes. And that's what you're doing. Adverb modifying a verb, modifying what? Pass. You want to pass, successfully pass. That almost seems redundant, but it is how you would use it. Now, success, you want to obtain success, have success in whatever it is you do. You want to succeed in what you were doing as an action. And if you succeed, that means you are successful. Okay. So different uses for them. Hopefully you have a good understanding of how you want to use a noun, how you want to use a verb, how you want to use an adjective, how you want to use an adverb. We'll definitely talk about these things more in class, especially when you start doing this type of vocabulary work in class, which you will be doing. Number 13, regularly. Regularly. Okay, we went over the pronunciation of that. Adverb, and regular, the noun, and regular is an adjective. And it just means often. He's regularly late for class. He regularly turns in his homework late. I'm not saying you, just it's happened in the past. You see regular would be like a regular person, and that would be using it as an adjective. Or regular means, a good example would be, you like this restaurant a lot. You know, like there's a favorite restaurant, like there's one down here, good Somtam place. And we go there like once a week. So if you go there like at the same time again and again and again, you are a regular at that restaurant. That's how it would be used as a noun. Number 14, disappointments. Noun, disappoint, verb, disappointed, adjective. The feeling of being disappointed. Something or someone that is not what you were hoping it would be. Like a lot of people, it's like when things don't happen the way you take a test, right? And you're thinking, oh yeah, I think I did really well on that test. And then you get the test back and you don't get the score you thought you were going to get. That's a great disappointment to you. You're very disappointed. You know, as an adjective, you're describing your feelings, and your feelings of disappointment makes you disappointed. And you're always hoping that people won't disappoint you. That would be the verb use. And the last one, travel. Again, I'd like to travel right now. Thinking I'd like to travel down to Krabi. And that's a verb. And we have a traveler, which is a noun. And that's to make a journey, usually over a long distance, to move or go from one place to another. And A journey is the noun. You take a journey. You could travel on a journey. But the travel is, very, very simple, very literal. It's just to go somewhere else. Hey, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to travel down to Rayong this morning. I'm going to travel to Gochan. That would be a good place to go to. Okay, so we've gone through all of that. If we had the time, I would probably go through all of the answers potential answers that you had on the closed test. Perhaps we'll do that week 6. We'll see. But what you're going to do now is what you did before. Take these 15 words, or actually take words 2 through 14. You don't have to do a sentence with how. So write a sentence using each of these words. And if you want to challenge yourself, try writing sentences using the other forms. But for now, I just want you to demonstrate some understanding by writing sentences and use each of the 14 words. Again, you don't have to use how, okay? And you probably need the rest of the class to do that. So why don't you start now? And I'll see you next week.